You're watching Moms Matter, and today we have a special guest who's going to talk about how she is a career coach for millennial moms. Her name is Beth Ferente, and you're about to get into why you need to get back into the workforce and how to do it. Welcome to our show today.
Thank you so much, Shirin. I'm so happy to be here.
I am so excited to see you are the only person I know who is doing what you're doing. You are really trying to empower moms to get back into the workforce. And if they don't take a hiatus, how to stay in the workforce and still have children.
Exactly. And I think it's so important because if you look at the top 450 jobs in the US, only 12.5% of them are held by mothers, which is shocking.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's an incredible statistic and it needs to change. And so in order to have moms at the top and have women at the top, we need to make sure that we're supporting them through motherhood and through the transition of becoming a working parent.
So how are you setting up the support system? I mean, there are a lot of moms who are fearful of saying, well, you know what, I'm going to take my whole maternity leave and I'm going to take some time off. They're afraid that, hey, you know what, they might get fired.
Exactly. And so, I think what's really interesting is that in the beginning, most women don't expect that they're going to leave. There was a recent study out of McKinsey and Lean In, and they said only 2% of women are actually intending to leave the workforce. Yet, we're seeing numbers closer to about 43%.
That's astronomical.
Exactly. And so I think what happens is that you hit this wall, we call it the maternal wall, and you continue to just have things that happen, challenges, ways that you are struggling to navigate, figuring out your family life as well as your career path. And that's what happens, and ultimately it ends in moms leaving. And so we're looking for ways to keep them engaged in the workforce, to stay, or to transition back in if they have chosen to leave. And we know that for mothers, it's 79% more likely not to get hired if you're a mom.
Oh my gosh.
And so we want to be able to support you. And I think the first thing is to recognize that it is possible. There are ways to get back into the workforce and to do it flexibly.
So how do you get back into the workforce when, you take me for example, right?
Yeah.
So you take off all this time, you have your children, and now you're 40 years old, and the truth is really nobody wants to hire a 40-year-old mom.
Exactly, right? And so you do have those challenges, and I think one of the biggest problems is when people start just applying online. Like, that doesn't work. It doesn't work for you when you're 20. It definitely doesn't work for you when you're 40, right?
Right,
and so it's really important to take that step back, to take some time to think about what exactly do you want to do? What are the strengths that you have, the skill set that you have? What's going to be the career path that you're really looking for so that you can be very intentional with your search and also be really focused on why. It's all about telling your story, being able to articulate why you want to work, why you want to do the work that you are aiming to do, and why it's going to work for your family. And so I think it's really important to make sure that you have a clear idea of what you're looking for before you even start. And so that's a lot of the work that I do with individuals is getting clarity on even what that looks like.
Yeah, and I think that that's what's super hazy. When you take a big chunk of time off, you really don't know. You're kind of like, well, I like this and that, and so having a career coach is huge.
Yeah, it's extremely important, and I think things have changed, right, in 10 years. So maybe the work that you were doing, it may not even exist anymore.
Absolutely.
It may have shifted, but you've also done a lot as a parent, and I think that's something we tend to lose, and we don't always value or know how to speak about it. You can't necessarily put mom on your resume, but you've, increased empathy. There's so many soft skills that you have really just had to lean into as a mother and that you can leverage in a career, and then also looking at some of those hard skills. And I think it's also important to recognize, like, what are the career paths that maybe are a little bit more flexible? Are there things that you're willing to learn? Obviously software design, web design, any of those graphic design things, those are things that can be done at home. They're very high value. They're always opportunities that they're looking for. Even if you don't have that skill set, there is something, but it's about really recognizing what your strengths are and how we can navigate that into a career.
Right. So in other words, don't shy away. Like, you want to get back into the workforce, your kids are grown up, you want to go back to work, and you step in here as a career coach and say, hey, let me help you. I'm going to hold your hand and I'm going to make you feel empowered to get back in there.
Exactly. And then for those women that, they can't take a break or they don't want to take a break, right? Because we live in Los Angeles here, 2 incomes is very necessary most of the time. And so for a lot of women who have to stay in the workforce, it's also important for them to look at, how do I do this? How do I accomplish both my professional goals and my personal goals? And make sure that I'm doing something that I love. Even those women that stay in, they often get pushed in kind of support functions. They get pulled off of client-facing roles, revenue-generating roles, creative roles. And, if that's really where your talent is and what you love to do, let's partner and find a way to make it more flexible, to navigate those conversations with your leadership team in order to keep you engaged during those tough times. That first year after having a baby, it's a huge transition. It's often really difficult not to lean into those days that you're like, oh my gosh, this isn't possible. The rain is happening, the baby is crying, the whole thing.
Right.
But ultimately, that's not every day. And so I think it's about giving you the confidence to ask for what you want, to recognize what will work for you and how you can kind of get through those transitions so that you can keep on the career path that you've always wanted to be on.
Oh my God, that was so helpful. Mary Beth, I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
I love your website. You're going to have an article up on LA Mom Magazine
Yes,
next month.
Definitely.
So, moms, you heard it right here on Moms Matter with Mary Beth Ferente, our career coach for millennial moms and all moms. And you can check her out on her website and reach out to her with any questions you have. And get back in there, ladies. Don't be fearful to get back into the workforce.
The future is female.
The future is female. I love it. Thank you so much for being on our show today.
Thank you.